How you doing? I want to do some more fun videos, and I've got some good ideas, but I got to get this one out of the way. A video came across my feed this morning, and I shared it on my Facebook page. It's a PragerU video. This young guy, good-looking guy, glasses, sits down with these young kids and lets them talk, and then just dismantles them with reality. Red pills their asses. And this one was on firearms. And you know, these kids are just repeating this anti-gun rhetoric that's been pumped into their skulls. But you know, when they're questioned with real-life situations and forced to think, and their brains are turned on, by the end of the video, they're like, wow, you really gave me a lot to think about. I guess I was wrong. It's pretty amazing. And the point of that is that we need to be red-pilling our fellow Americans on the daily on a myriad of subjects. A plethora of subjects, if you will. So, and it made me think, you know, I've had this idea for a long time. Civilian security force. I'm going to go back real quick, because there's this one thing that happened one day. This guy came over to my shop. He's a friend of mine. He was born and raised in Italy, so he's got that statist mentality. You know, believe what you're told, go along to get along. And he was talking about firearms, and I just let him ramble as I was working, and he was taking pictures. And I listened, and then I just took him down, point by point. And it was a good intellectual conversation. We got along well. We had a good time. Didn't think it made a difference. Months go by. He hires me, go to his house, do some work. He's working. His wife is home. She takes me to lunch. She says to me, you know, Mike, that day he came home, the first words out of his mouth were, we have to rethink our position on firearms. Wow. That was awesome. Because, you know, you don't always get to hear when you've made a difference in somebody's life. A lot of times they won't tell you. People don't like to admit that they've been thinking incorrectly. I don't have a problem with it, but people are like that. Just throwing that out there. Because you should never be disillusioned, and you should be, you know, you should stay motivated to keep putting the truth out there, because the truth is all that matters on any subject. And the truth is contagious. You know, have some friggin' integrity. Stand behind what you think. Now, you know, there was a time in this country when a huge portion of the population, percentage of the population, was armed, walked around armed. And it was a more polite society, by the way. You know, if you're walking around and you think everybody's got a handgun on them, you tend to be a little bit nicer. You know, just putting that out there. You know, you don't get all these thuggish moron children walking around intimidating us all the time, or trying to. They don't intimidate me, but you know what I'm saying. It's ridiculous. So, you know, from the late 18th century into about the 1930s, people carried firearms. And from like the early part of the 20th century, about 1930s, there were these things. Pocket guns were a thing. Women carried. Everybody, people in suits carried them. Very simple thing, right? We'll get into that in a minute. The idea for the civilian security force would be, it's something that you want to do. Look, not everybody has the mental makeup for it. That's a whole other discussion, and maybe I'll touch on that too. But basically, you would sign up for this thing. You have to go through a myriad of testing, written tests, make sure you're not a kook, and real training, combat training, the whole deal. And then maybe 4 times a year, quarterly, you got to go in and qualify. It would be federally funded. No money would come out of your pocket for the ammo or anything. You're part of the system. You're registered, your firearms registered, the whole deal. And the point of it would be, you are required to be armed at all times, even in gun-free zones, which are a stupid friggin' idea anyhow. So, that's it. Very simple plan. You know, if you're a Marine, if you're Army infantry, if you're a combat veteran, you know, you still got to take the written test and whatnot, but you can basically walk in. I think it's a good idea, you know. I think we should be discussing it, at least, you know. Maybe somebody get this to the president. Because that's the kind of guy, the guy we have in there right now is the kind of guy who could implement this, you know. He'd probably be behind it. The thing about carrying a firearm, semi-automatic, look, that should be carried in condition 1, right? If you've got the right training, you know what you're doing, you've practiced, you got your muscle memory down. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, if somebody jumps you, you know, I mean, there was a pretty famous case years ago, and the guy got a bad rap because the media spun it But if somebody jumps you at night, is beating the hell out of you, you're not going to have the time to rack that handgun. You know what I'm saying? You pull that thing out and save your life. And, you know, somebody just jumps you, mugs you, even if haven't laid a hand on you yet. They're rushing at you with a knife or something. You don't always have the time to rack that. So condition one's the way to go. And professional firearms instructors will tell you that. When you hear somebody going, that's dangerous, that person doesn't know enough about what they're talking about. Just want to get all that out there. I'm trying to do this fast. I hope I got all this out, everything I wanted to say. Anyhow, keep telling the truth. Be good Americans. Be kind to one another. Only you can protect you. You know, better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Think about it, you know. Have a good day. Just be good Americans is all I can say, man.